check this out. We are going to make, and before I just keep blabbing on and on, we're going to make a super easy little mini album today. And so just you need to have one piece of 12 by 12 for the cover, and then you're going to need 1.5 sheets for your inside pages. And so that is all the paper that you need for the cover and the pages. And so let me see. I'm so sorry. I got somebody trying to call me. I'm going to turn my ringer back down, you guys. All right. You know, even if you use the things to not, what is it? The do not disturb. You know, if they're in your favorites, it'll still ring through. So if you have it set that way, and so I have it set that way, so, you know, that's how it goes, right? So where are you guys watching from? I want to know. I want to know where you're watching from. You guys, I'm having a hard time getting this going today. I apologize. I don't know what the world's going on. I'm going to get it, though. I am. I'm going to get it done. Oh, my word. Okay. Hang on one second here. Okay, now I can see comments. That's always important, too. I always tell you that's important. Hey, Deborah. Hi, Cheryl. How are you? Maureen, Sue. Hey, you guys. How are you doing? What's your weather like today? We have just had super, you know, for here. This is like our third round of pretty chilly winter weather for here in the Dallas area. And, you know, usually we'll get like maybe once a year, maybe in the winter. So this has kind of been, you know, a little bit colder than usual. Oh, Judy is from upstate New York. You guys have been having quite a bit of cold and snow this year too, haven't you? Always so snowy, so snowy. All right, you guys. Hang on one second. And one more spot. You know, when you share yourself out, it's always nice when you've got somebody else to share you into the places. I'm usually on my own for doing that, so that's how that goes. But, you know, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? And then you got to remember all the names of the places. Okay, I'm done. I'm done. Got that done. So, like I said, we're just going to use 3 sheets of 12 by 12 paper. One sheet is for the cover, and so, you know, you can make them all the same color. You can have them different colors if you want to. And so, you know, it's just up to you. And anything is going to work. Any of that is going to work just fine for however you decide that you want your book. And then you can have any kinds of little other kinds of papers for your decorative papers. So let's get going. Let me put my keyboard back in here. Oh my goodness, what time is it? I've blabbed for more than 5 minutes on this stuff. I do apologize. So let's get going. I'm going to put us down here to the other view. Okay. And let's see where I can see it. Okay. So I'm going to start with my colored paper for the cover. And oh, before we get started, let me show you. This is the cutest paper. This is from Stampin' Up, and it's the storybook collection. And this is so sweet. Look at this. Doesn't it remind you of like Beatrix Potter? Her things. Look at this. So all these little fun storybook characters, and so you've got double-sided, you know, papers. So aren't these going to be adorable? This is that same one that I've already pulled out to show you. And then here's some little strawberries on this one, and more little rabbits on the back. I just think these are so stinking cute. Wait a second. Yeah, that's the blue one. And then there's this one. This has some. This one, I don't know if those are squirrels or chipmunks. They have a fluffy tail. I think they're squirrels, but those are super cute too. And then just a real plain print on the back. Isn't this sweet? And then some vegetables. Some vegetables on here. And some little cottage looking homes on the back. And can't you just see how, oh, these have little gardens with them too. Look here. This one looks like it has some, well, they all look like they have a little bit of a garden, or there's some gardens in between. Not as cute. And then here's some that are die cut pieces. So you could use those with whatever you were going to make. And so, like I said, these are Stampin' Up, and you can find my Stampin' Up site and look for Storybook. If you just type in Storybook to search, you'll find a whole bunch of things. Now, this paper collection is called Storybook Moments, but you know what? I think some of them are getting kind of low in quantity. I'm sure that because they were just in a catalog that just, you know, came out recently, there will probably be some that come back in. And so if you, you know, just keep watching that if you are interested in seeing that. You guys, let me see. There. There I am. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So to make the cover, I'm going to use that blue color for my cover. What do I do with it? There it is. And there is also a collection that comes with the, you can pick a paper pack, and the paper pack is meant to be the cardstock, and it's a variety of colors that go with that collection. And so that's always a handy thing when you don't have to get tons of paper. Okay, this, since I'm going to cut it and I want it to be able to fold, I want my folds going this way so that they fold the easiest. So I'm going to turn it this way, and I'm going to make this little album 6 inches high. So I'm just going to cut it right here at the 6 inches. And actually, I hope that is a true 6 inches, because it bumps up. You know what? No, let's move this. We can move that out of the way. It's like it's almost just a hairline shorter than the 6 inches. Okay, so we've got those, and we actually want these to be 10 inches. So I'm going to cut off. I should have cut 2 inches off at the first, and then I'd have a long strip in case I needed it. But save these, because when you're making a little mini album, or any album, save your scraps that you cut off, because there's all kinds of things that you can do in your little albums, right? Hey Michelle, how are you? And Michelle was working in a little flip-flop book today too. So I guess this was the day we were gonna work out. You guys go back and see everybody in the Crafty Bunch. They're pinned at the top, and mine isn't pinned right now. I'll go back in and pin it. And so those are super easy to find, our people who are on today. Okay, now this is gonna be, okay, again, I want cuts that are super easy. I'm gonna cut this at 4 3/8. Let's see, 4 3/8. I'm just going to slice that off. And that's how wide it is. And another 4 3/8. I got to think. It's hard. I'm sitting here talking to everybody. I got to still pay attention, right? Measuring and talking, those don't always go together well. And then another one. So let's go ahead and cut this one at 4 3/8. I've done some of these before. This isn't the first time I've shown this, but these are so great. And a lot of people have not seen one of these, and they just make such a nice little album. Okay, so we've got our little pieces here. Hang on 1 second. I'm going to mute you for 1 second. Okay. All right, so now these are going to be 6 inches tall, and we just need 6 of them. We need 6. These are going to be the individual pages. So we need 6. And let's see here. How many of you have made little mini albums? And let me know if you like doing that. Oh, it's sunny and gorgeous in Florida. Nice. Cold and snowy in Michigan. You guys, I know it is. Okay, now we're going to do some scoring. So on our little pages, remember I said they're 6 inches high. And so we are going to score those at 1/4 of an inch. And this particular trimmer has a little score blade in it as well, so I don't even have to do that, although sometimes I feel like I'm really pushing a lot, and 1/4 inch doesn't seem like a lot, but it's going to be plenty for our little books here. And I'm going to put those on the cut. I'm going to try to score on the cut side, just because then the cut side won't show at the edges of the pages. And you guys, you can, the sky's the limit when you're doing these. You can just, I saw my arm in the monitor. You guys, we have a new cat. It's a kitten. My gosh, I feel like I look like I've been to war, don't I? Don't worry, I'm okay. But what a stinker. We're keeping his little nails trimmed. And don't you love it when you give animal body parts the same names that we have? Like they would actually be claws, I suppose, right? But I'm gonna call him his nails. Oh my gosh, snowy in Idaho, says Kathy. Okay. But you guys, what I was gonna say is you could do decorative edges on these. On the pages as you put them in, like along one edge. You could do some decorative edges. You could use either some die cuts that have you could just put them in as far as your edge to just get that tiny edge off. You could use some decorative scissors. I'm just going to use them plain today. Let's see, I got to think of what time I'm done. See, I started at 1:30. Okay, 2:15. 2:15. And I am going to share the next person in before I'm finished. So I hope you'll bear with me. Cheryl from Mama P's, she usually does, these events. And so she had somewhere she had to be for a little while. So I took over for a little while. So, okay. And then this one on the long pieces, we are going to score them at 4.5 and 5.5. So just 4.5 and 5.5. And what we're doing is we're making kind of a big sort of spine. But we're going to have a spine on 2 sides. So we're going to do both of these. And I think this looks like it's kind of two-toned. Look, you've got one darker side. So I'm going to use the darker side to be the outside of this. The outside of my covers. So again, 4.5 and 5.5. So if you're just popping on, we've got our cover sheets are 2 pieces that are 10 inches wide, 6 inches high. We're scoring them at 4.5 and 5.5. And then our pages, we have 6 pages, so it takes 1.5 sheets of 12 by 12, if that's what you're using. And because these are only 10 inches, or they are, you could actually get by if you have like 8.5 by 11 sheets of your cardstock. That would work too, because none of these are too big for that. And so then the little pages are going to be 6 inches high and 4 3/8 wide, and then you score it at 1/4 of an inch. So now we've got all of our cutting and our scoring done, and now we are going to give these all a good crease before we get ready to put them together. So I want my dark side on the outside. So all I'm going to do now is I'm going to start putting the, folding them And I'm just going to make sure that my edges here are together and straight, and that way I can get a nice straight edge for my crease, right? Your, you know, the tops and bottoms of your little album will be straight. So just go ahead and do that. I'm going to do both of those. And oops, that's the wrong way. What are you guys up to today? So I was asking people before, hi Michelle, I can share you in before I get off of here. I'll share you into the Crafty Bunch. Michelle's going to be up next with Pretty Pieces by Michelle. So today is Crafter's Choice in our event today. So you're going to see a variety of, you know, things that people are making today, and it doesn't, so there's not an overarching theme today. Okay, so now I'm going to put these together, and I'm going to put them together this way. I'm going to put the right side over the left side, and the reason I'm going to do that is, you know, a lot of times we'll hold something and look at it like, you know, it might, if you're going to stand it up, this will be kind of the spine of your little booklet, and so I want this to be a nice neat edge, and not that it's going to be a, you know, a big deal, but then the cut edge will be over here, which it'll be, you know, where it's folded, that edge will be open here too. So I just want this piece to lay on the top inside there. So I'm just going to run my glue along here on like all four edges. Squiggle it along, because for some reason squeezing these tiny bottles, you're just like, oh, it's hard to get them going. All right, so now we've got a little bit of a moment to wiggle it into place. So I'm going to just lay it here. I'm going to put it to the side of that score line, line it up on the bottom here so it's nice and straight. And then if I fold that in, then I can make sure you can, that's another way to double check to make sure that's not going to be in the way, right? Okay. So we've got that. Now we're going to start working on our pages. So our pages, I'll show you how they go in. And it's kind of counterintuitive the way that we're going to put our pages in. So I'm just going to give them a quick fold like this. So we've got 6 of them. Post a photo of your new kid. Oh my goodness, he is a stinker. He is an all black little kitty. He's pretty. He is smart, and man, he's trying to get into places we don't want. And sometimes if he thinks you're going in those places, he beats you there. I mean, he can beat me coming into the craft room like nobody's business. It's pretty funny. He's been a great source of entertainment lately, I can tell you that. And we've already got 2 dogs. So they finally kind of tolerated playing with him a little bit here recently, and that was pretty fun to watch. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and give these a good crease while they are still down, but I need to still open them some before I glue them in. So now we're just going to put our glue. If you have that real small, real narrow double-sided tape, you could use that. I would still put a little bit of glue on there. People are always asking me what kind of glue I use. I use reptile glue most of the time for my liquid glue. And it is, and then I put it into these small needle nose bottles. Hey Grace, how are you? You keep a spray bottle of water to keep your kitty in line. There you go. Okay, so now we're going to put this one, and we're going to face the edge of this. This is a part that seems like it wouldn't be right. We're going to put it on here and bring it up there. Make sure that it's not in the way. Give it a good press. Okay. And then we're going to add the next one in there. So maybe I'll just wait to do the final crease again with the bone folder. I'll just wait a minute to do that till I get these guys put in position. So now again, this one, and then you almost need to like flatten them out a little bit. I forgot to do that. We'll just stand this one up here. So we just need to bump it right up here to the one before it. And then it's a good idea to actually make sure that they are in a good place in your inside the edges here. All right. So, yeah, I think I'm going to do this, you guys. I think I'll give it a good crease first and then open it back up and put it down that way. And that way it's more open so I can get it into the little, into our little mini album. Okay, and then we'll put this one here. And having these this close together, but with this 1/4 inch spacing, it actually gives you a good amount of space to put stuff on these pages, because we're gonna layer a lot of goodies in here as time goes by. So this is just the first of our, this is like gonna be one episode. This will be episode 1 of our storybook mini album, you guys. And you know what, I want to tell you something. I have been on, when I was thinking about seeing who else had maybe some printable papers that I could use if I wanted to, and I went over to one of the places where, you know, we see lots of digital designers, and I was surprised how many people had like the Peter Rabbit images. And I mean, they weren't similar. They're the images. And I'm like, that's really odd to me, because I would think that those were copyrighted. And then I looked it up, and I found out that the story, Beatrix Potter's story of Peter Rabbit, for whatever time frame that she was. Okay, so we'll get back to that in a second. Now we're going to start this one. And so this crease, the farthest crease out this way, that's the one we're going to line this up this time. Anyway, whenever she, either when she died, or I can't remember when the, you know, when it started from, but the copyright expired in something like 2013. Now you guys, it's been long enough since I read this, and I don't remember the exact time, but it was something like 2013. And so people can use her story without, I mean, her story right is public domain, her story, not the images. And I think that a lot of people are confused about that. Those images are copyrighted. And somebody, I think, you know, came in and bought the copyrights to those images. So, you know, I don't think they're like some of the companies like Disney and some of those companies that will go after people for using their, you know, images right off the bat. Hey, Missy. You can't get by me undetected. What are you talking about? I thought you were leaving.
I thought so too.
Oh, okay. All right, then there's this one. So we're just going to keep bumping these up here, and then make sure they're straight down there. And if you have little pieces of your cover showing in between here, don't worry about it. You know, you're going to have so many other fun things in here. Nobody's going to pay any attention to that, right? Hi, Helen. How are you doing? So we'll just put this in here and just, you know, just a little bit of this. But if you do use tape, use a little bit of glue on it too. Because that tape has a tendency to loosen and eventually come undone. And when you spend this much time putting something together, you don't want it to come undone right away, right? Okay, so we'll press those down. And I'm going to go ahead and lay all these down and give them a good press like this. Okay, so now we've got our fun little cover done, and I'll show you what that looks like. So now then, you take, this is how it will close. You start and you close one from each side. So you've got them flip-flopping back and forth like this. And then as you close it like this, you've got this much room. You've got that much room in between all those pages to add all your special goodness, right? Another way to add your signatures. I don't know that I would call these signatures, Kathy. It's a totally different little mini book, mini album. So they're just glued right on there. So they're not really, a signature is a collection of pages that are together. And these are actually, your pages are all separate. So I don't think I would really call these a signature. But it's a way to add pages in, that's for sure. Right? So that's, you know, I just love this. I think this is a great way. Now, I'm going to go ahead and, oh, what did I do with my, I wanted to, oh, here it is. I wanted to round some corners. And I think, let me see here real quick. Where's my scrap I did? I'm going to see which one I like best. That's a 1/4 inch. I think I'd rather have the 1/2 inch probably. That's a 1/2 inch. Okay, so let's do 1/2 inch. And we're going to do them on the outside edges. And just get these in here. And just round these. And I'm going to round the pages too. But as I put things into the pages, I'm not necessarily going to, oh my goodness, I'm not necessarily going to keep all of these, oh man, I don't know what I did there. Good thing I got scissors. I know how to use scissors. Oh, hey Kathy, you are new to a lot of things about journals, huh? Well, there's so many ways to do it, so many fun things to learn. Enjoy the journey. Okay, there. And then let's do the little the edges. Okay, now remember, now if you were going to do decorative edges, you could do a tiny little decorative scissor along here. I think I'm just going to do this, and then maybe as I go through any decorative edges that I put on, maybe that'll be on the printed papers or the papers that I layer on, right? So I mean, you still have plenty of time to do all kinds of fun things to this, but I wanted to get this started so you could have a chance, if you wanted to make something like this, you know, that you'd have a chance to do that before I come back on. Now I'm also going to be doing quite a few little watercolor images as part of this too. Not only my paper that I showed you, oh, for some of you that are just popping on, give me just a second and I'll show you the papers that we're going to use. That was why I was talking about, you know, Beatrix Potter's Peter Rabbit collection. This reminds me of the Peter Rabbit stuff. And I mean, you can get like a, you know, so many things. You can kind of have like a little, you know, a Peter Rabbit-esque type thing, right? If you are looking at stuff. I'll show you the papers again, you guys. These are just adorable. And this is called the Storybook Collection. It's from Stampin' Up. You can go over to my my link tree is in my featured section. And so like this, these are some die cuts. And then you've got all these fun papers, and they're double-sided. So here's these rabbits on here. And then you've got, you know, some great you know, more small, subtle things. And they're kind of small, which I like. I'm glad that they are smaller. So for making a little book the size that this is, you've got smaller prints that you can use. And these are even some cut aparts. So you can also use some cut aparts. But now you can see by using the cut aparts, the sizes that they are, you know, you'd have to do quite a bit of layering in here, you know, for a background, because those are going to be too small for the size that we've made our book. Now, making our book this size, you could easily put something on here that is, you know, a 4x6 and trim it down a little bit so you've got a border around it, right? And so that's going to give you a nice option for the sizes of things that you can get in here. I don't like to make them too small, because I like to have options, right? How about you? Who likes to have options? I know, Kathy, aren't they the sweetest? And then so on the back, okay, that was the green. These are the little cottages. I think these are just super cute. And then vegetables, like for the vegetable garden. So I mean, you can see why this is certainly a Peter Rabbit-esque, you know, type thing. And all the tools. Now this collection has all kinds of things that go with it. There's a lot of die cuts, or, you know, dies that you can cut with. But still, just the paper itself is adorable. Here's some like little, I'm not sure if these are squirrels. What do you guys think? Are those squirrels or chipmunks? Tell me what you think about that. I can't decide. I kind of want to say squirrels because of their bushy tails, but then they've got these little lines on their face that remind me more of chipmunks. So I'm not sure. Whatever they are, they're adorable, aren't they? Aren't they just the sweetest? And so then this is the back of that. And we already looked at this one. But super cute. I just think they're adorable. So one of the things that you could do is to, you know, use one of these to put on the front. You could use one of these more like on the back. And I actually have some, and you don't even have to stay with these. Find something that coordinates. Find something that is like a plaid paper or polka dots or stripes or whatever that you can find in something that goes really cute. Somebody, Helen says squirrels and Sue says chipmunks. I don't know. Isn't that funny? Excuse me. I'm not sure what it is. These, and there are like gardening implements that are some of the dies. I know some of those things are gone right now. I would imagine they will come back in a little bit later. So if you're interested, you know, keep checking on those, and maybe I'll be able to keep track of that. See, now there he is, and he reminds me more of a chipmunk, but he just looks furrier. Maybe chipmunks up north are furrier. Who knows? Now, you would think if I had lived in Minnesota as long as I did, I would know, right? If they're furrier. I don't know. Okay, so we've got just a few more minutes. Hey, Susan, how are you? I know, isn't this cute? Just this is so adorable. I agree. So now then, you know, and you've got several things that you could do after you layer these in. And so, like I said, then the way that I like to layer them is like fold the right side down, and then that way when I get to the front, then this one is the first one to open. So you've got it like this, it'll open like this, and you can put a ribbon around it if you want to tie it closed. You could put a tiny little piece of those little bitty hook and loop things if you wanted to, and depending on how you put it together, you might even put, you know, one of the little magnet things in. There's just so many ways to do it. So why don't we, I mean, I can't just stop right there and do nothing, right? Let's how about, let's do this. Let's take, find some scissors. I think one of the first things I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these. I'm going to put this on here. And I've even got some dies that will cut. I don't even have to fussy cut because I've got some dies that will cut part way around some of the little animals. Because it was quite an extensive collection and well thought out, and lots of fun things that they put in the collection. So let's cut this out. I'm going to put this frame out here, and this is going to give me a fun little place to put one of those animals when I get it cut out. So I'm going to put that right here, except I want to get, hang on just a second, it needs something behind it, doesn't it? Let me, you know what? Let me show you some of the rest of it. And here's part of the collection too. These are some of the stamps that go with it. So those are cute. You can stamp something out there and color it if you want to. And then it's got some cute little sayings, which would be great for either in the little, the album, or, you know, it doesn't have to be a card. Some of these would be great for spring in a card, or Easter. Here's some cute little things. Here's a couple of garden implements, a watering can, and the vegetables. And so these are actually stamps, and I think there are some dies that go with it too. But let's open this up. This was something, and I think I picked this as part of, I don't know if you can, I'm sorry, I don't know if you can still get this or not. It was one of the options. Stampin' Up! Has a thing called Celebration. Let's see if we can find something that'd be fun to put behind that green. Maybe that. Put that there. Maybe. I don't know. Oh, you know me. I like, oh, you guys, I like greens and blues. I think I might put that there. Except this brings in a lot more color. Maybe I'll just go ahead and put that one in there. So if we're going to put that one in there, I need it to be a little bit smaller. And I don't mind if the white is sticking out around the edge at all. So I think I am going to, and a ruler twirler extraordinaire. So I think I will do about 3.5. I think that leaves a nice little amount on each side. So if I do 3.5, and then this way about, I don't know, maybe 5.25, 3.5 by 5.25. We'll give it a whirl, you guys. If that does, oh, you guys, these were double-sided. Oh, maybe there's something more fun on the back. Oh, there's lots of little things on the back there. Oh, I like those. There's some really fun things. Now I don't even remember which one I picked. I think I'll do this one. That'll introduce some more of the color into the book as we go forward. I think I said 3.5. I don't even know. Actually, now that I've got that cut, let's hold it up here. So we haven't got really far on this today, but oh, I like that. I don't know what that is. Let me see how much that measures right there to that spot. Oh, about 5 and 1/8. Well, my 5.25 wasn't bad. And so I'll show you. See, if we put this down, let me make sure which is the front. If we put this down, see, even though these corners are rounded, it doesn't matter that this one has a little bit of, oh, you guys, I don't know what happened to my nail file. I was gonna, my trimmer is a little bit rough. But we'll put this part down here and get a good we'll get a good idea of how this is gonna start going together, right? And I probably, if I'm gonna add some of the other little images and color them up and stuff, I probably would not start deciding on my background colors and things until I do that and make sure that I like, you know, whatever that is, that the background is going to go with it. But because I've already picked this green one to go on here, then, you know, the green is going to be a great background for whatever we decide to put on there, right? I think this is so sweet. But I did want to, you know, show you how to make the foundation of this and let you, you know, go from there. Because not all of you are going, oh, let's see. Oh, which way do you think is the top? Is this the top down here? Do you think the ball is at the top or at the bottom? I say top. Well, who knows? But that's the way it is on here, right? Okay, hopefully that'll work. And then I can put one of those little images and just layer it on here. And then I've got a good start to my book. And you can put little pockets on here just like a regular album. So you can put little pockets and whatever else that you want to do on there. How many of you think that you would be interested in making one of these? I'm curious. I'm curious. And while we are finishing up, I'm going to go and see if I'm going to use my phone. So tell me what you think. Do you think that that is that you'll make one? Let me know. Let me know real quick in the comments if you think you're going to make one. I'd love to know. I'm just gonna look for Michelle. So I'm getting hearts, so maybe I hope that means that you think you will make one, right? Let's see. So we're going over to you gotta know your people's page names, you guys. What in the world? Here we go. Pretty Pieces by Michelle. And she has started, and I am going to share her over into the Crafty Bunch. So all you guys have to do is just go ahead and refresh your page. I couldn't think of the word. Just refresh your page. How about that? Okay, so we've got her shared in, and I'll let her know that she's in the group. Yeah, when you have to be in yourself and then get somebody shared in after you, it's a little hectic, but we can do it, right? We're smart women. You're gonna try. Good, Judy. I'm glad you would after you master your beginner journal. Well, this is a little bit different too, Kathy. So, you know, sometimes you have a couple of things in progress. It kind of keeps it fresh and exciting so you can continue and you know, do more than one thing. But yeah, okay, you guys, my time is up. So check over in the Crafty Bunch. Just refresh your browser, and let's go see what Michelle's going to be up to today. Thank you so much for being here and hanging out with us in the Crafty Bunch today. Thanks, you guys. Bye-bye.